You'd think that after having a hit song, making millions of dollars off of it, selling out shows, etc., that these lucky artists would be able to use this newfound success to carve out a long-term career for themselves. But for some, they aren't able to hang on. It got me thinking about whether there's an actual reason for that, or has their luck simply just run out? I'll ask you a more direct question that I'm not sure you'll have the right answer to right off the bat. Is being a top-level music artist luck or skill? For me personally, I believe that this one-hit wonder effect that we often see in hip-hop and in music more generally derives from an artist's lack of social and mental skills that are developed with experience in the industry. Therefore, when a person blows up overnight, they are unprepared for this exposure and are never able to reach their initial potential. To define what we're classifying as a one-hit wonder, I count it as an artist that has a song that is grossly bigger than anything else they've ever produced, or has a single album that's bigger than any other project they've released. So basically, your Made in Tokyos, your Fetty Waps, your Flip Dineros. Wait a minute, Flip Dinero? Let me actually talk about him for a quick second here. Now, Flip is obviously best known for the song Leave Me Alone, which, as much as it sounds like it was created by a moody 12-year-old, is a really good song. I find his cadence super interesting, which he uses to create dynamic flow in his music. And with that, an important thing I want to highlight here is that being a one-hit wonder doesn't necessarily mean that the rest of their music is trash. Like Flip's music, for instance, I actually find really solid. His last 5-song EP, Table of One, I thought was enjoyable. So why is it that the Karate Kid has more monthly Spotify listeners, huh? Riddle me that. I also know what you're saying to yourself right now, so let me get this straight. Their music isn't bad, yet they still fell off. What the fuck is this guy talking about? Well, see, I've started to recognize that everything in our world is about marketing. Music is a product, we as people are products, we live in a simulation. If somebody has the capacity to make a hit song, they can definitely make another hit song. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Therefore, the disconnect comes from the fact they then need to have the skills to market their music and their brand if they want to be able to succeed as a top-level artist. And that obviously comes from the more mental side of music. What I'm trying to say is that when a song goes unexpectedly viral, a lot of these artists are left unprepared for the new spotlight they're going to be facing. They aren't just selling themselves to a couple hundred people anymore, they're selling themselves to hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of people now. But with that, the skill gap for success just went up by 100, and they didn't even notice because they're too busy celebrating what they think is their big break. They'll then release their next song or their next project, and it might do alright, but definitely not at the same level as their hit song, and then this process will repeat itself over and over and over again until they completely run out of hype around their name. And then they'll be wondering, what went wrong? I mean, the reason that Drake is as big as he is, besides the fact that he's both bodacious and quirky, is the fact that he's highly marketable. Like, just look at the promotion for Her Loss. It was really strange, but super funny, and so Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok took everything he created to push the album, and likely made it 10 times bigger, and a lot more people actually interested in listening to it in the first place. Obviously, though, Drake doesn't come up with a lot of these ideas himself, but if he does, we might have to ask some more serious questions. Even when he was on the come-up, he had friends and connections helping him to establish his music and his brand. If you were to be an upcoming artist, you aren't likely to be in a similar situation as Drake is now, or when he was at a low level. You definitely aren't going to be as quirky as him, so just stop yourself, man. Now you're probably thinking, why the fuck is this guy talking about Drake being bodacious for so long? There's obviously other issues going on with music careers that make it so that people are one-hit wonders. You're totally correct. A big problem a lot of artists face is actually the timing in which they receive their success. It often comes too early and too fast, and their inexperience leads them to making bad choices and losing out on their moment to shine. If you know the artist Baby No Money, known for the hit song La La La, he mentioned that he wished he would have blown up slower because he wasn't ready for that song to be as successful as it was so early in his career.
La 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 happened. It was great financially and amazing, like, for my career, but I will say it made me a little jaded. Everything was always like a light progression up,
right? And then
it just went like, it's like I had a song that was like as popular as like Hotline Bling, and then all my other songs were as popular as like Drake's third song.
He obviously is grateful for the recognition he received, but he felt the slower progression he experienced before La 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 was released was much more manageable. Honestly, I would agree that a slower pace would be a lot more ideal in this situation, as comparatively with high levels of notoriety all of a sudden appearing, it can be so overwhelming that you don't really know what to do with it. I mean, I definitely don't do this, but some people discombobulate when a woman just looks in their general direction, so just think of that feeling and multiply it by thousands when the men start looking at you too. So obviously the best situation then is blowing up in smaller stages so that an artist can build foundations around themselves, which also enables them to notice small adjustments they need to make in order to maintain success. But now you're definitely thinking, it's the music industry. You don't really get to choose these things. and you're absolutely right. So what do you do when you become an overnight success? Sell your soul to Satan? Become a vegan? Your primary concern has gotta be your brand. You want people to gravitate towards you for more than just one thing, and that applies to both a music career and also just your regular life as a person. As an artist, you have to be more memorable than your work. And to clarify that, with a lot of one-hit wonders, you'll know the name of the song, but you won't remember their actual name. I'm sure for some of you, you either don't know or forgot who Flipped an Arrow was, but when I mentioned Leave Me Alone, instantly could think of him. And that's a massive problem for him and for most one-hit wonders. Now, on the flip side of that, pun intended, I thought Ice Spice was going to be the next one on this hit list. But recently I found that she actually has a lot of presence outside of her music. I can honestly say that I've never listened to one of her songs, but I know her and basically everyone and their mother knows her as well. And that transfers into the success of her music. Social media seems to favor her as an individual more than just as someone who makes music, and so now I'm of the opinion that she'll have a certain level of longevity, provided she still puts out music that people enjoy. I guess you could say I thought I was feeling her, but it turns out I am indeed a munch. Alright, you would have said it too, Another great example would be my boy Post Malone. When White Iverson came out, Posty was doing hella interviews and meeting up with popular internet celebrities to try and flex his very likable personality. And he did this because if people like him, they'll pay more attention to him, and his album that was releasing at the time. And that's what a lot of artists who have a hit need to do for the benefit of their longevity. Showcase what makes you interesting, not just as an artist, but as a person too. Now there's obviously other things that help, such as having connections with bigger artists, as it can also be a useful resource as a new star adjusts to the money and fame, but the main priority as an artist is to be seen as an endearing or interesting individual, even if it's a fake persona. Just look at Kanye or Uzi or Playboi Carti. They have personalities and personas that people have become drawn to, and it's extended their careers to get them to the level they're at today, in addition to the music that they produce being of good quality. At the end of the day though, no one is ever going to be fully prepared for meteoric success, or for women looking in their general direction. Some people are just simply more mentally equipped, while others struggle and fade away. Is there an artist you wish would have managed to prolong their success after dropping a hit? Let me know your answer and whether or not you think success in the music industry is down to luck or skill in the comments below.